YouTube was good, y'all. If you're anything like me, I've been paying attention to the Drake versus UMG case, but not daily. I don't have all the knowledge of the whole case going on, so I wanted to go over a video of someone who does. So let's take a listen, and I'll
UMG lawsuit is crazy. Now,
react
we had
throughout.
read a little bit of the updates that they gave us about the subpoena for Mr. Kaplan, but it looks like this is even more intense than that because now UMG
My
claims
brother
that
in
what
light
they have
skin.
in their possession is going to be able to help in their defense. Going based off of Rule 26A1A, they are claiming that based upon the information now reasonably available to UMG, UMG states that it has in its possession, custody, or control the following categories of documents that it may use to support its defenses, unless the use would be solely for impeachment. And this is the information that UMG claims that they have that they will use in their defense. And this is where it starts to get good. First bullet says that the contracts and agreements between UMG and Drake and documents concerning UMG's contractual relationship with Drake. So they're going to pull Drake's contract. UMG has access to Drake's contract, obviously, and now they're going to show Drake's contract in court. The other
Gotcha.
recording in Drake and Lamar's rap feud, and documents concerning the distribution, marketing, and promotion of the recording in the feud, of the other recordings in the feud. So they're going to talk about all the other songs that were mentioned in the beef. One of the biggest
Of course.
conversations about this was Taylor Made Freestyle and how Drake's lawyers were trying to make Not Like Us its individual thing when the judge was saying that they had to get context and they had to talk about every single song in the battle. So bringing up documents and information about the other records, I believe this is the reason why they're doing that. The petition entitled Art on Trial, Protect Black Art, appended as Exhibit A to UMG's request for judicial notice in support of its motion to dismiss. Now, this art on trial that they're talking about is a petition and public campaign a few years ago, if I'm correct, by music industry leaders, including executives at Warner Records and Atlantic Record, as well as artists and advocacy groups. The petition argues against the use of rap lyrics and other forms of artistic expression as evidence of criminal prosecution. So they are bringing up art on trial, protect black art, so that way they could argue using rap lyrics in court, which I think is a very smart move considering that this is what we're doing. But we'll see how this goes because from what we know, they've been using rap lyrics a lot up until this point. The other bullet, other recordings by Drake and documents concerning the same, including but not limited to those appended as Exhibit B, C, and Z to UMG. News reports and documents concerning Drake's relationship with and behavior around minors, the criminal charges and conviction of Baka Not Nice, and the rap feud between Drake and Lamar, including but not limited to the documents appended in exhibits N through X to UMG's RJN.
Okay, so it sounds like UMG's done playing with Drake, and they should have been done playing as soon as this lawsuit started from Drake. But I disagreed with the AI freestyle. I didn't like it. I disagree with Drake suing, over the Not Like Us song when UMG has been everything he's accusing UMG of doing for Kendrick, they've been doing for him his entire career. And well, not his entire career, but since 2015 or whatever. And it was fine when they were doing it for Drake, but once we get the bots going for Kendrick, it's a problem. And I guess I should say at this point that I like Drake's music. It's fine. I'm not a Drake fan like that. I'll put on some Kendrick Lamar before I listen to Drake.
So
So,
now they've officially done it. Now they are going to check into Drake and his suspicious activity with youngins, bro. This is insane. Now, from the recent document that was updated yesterday, this is one of the documents that was there. However, it wasn't available to the public just yet. Everybody is going to react to this so crazy because now it's UMG officially saying that in their defense, they are now going to show news reports and documents concerning Drake's relationship with youngins, bro. And this is the craziest part about everything. Because not only are they looking into that, they're also bringing up the criminal charges belonging to Baka Not Nice. Why is he still
mhm,
around? The whole reason
got
why
a weird
this might be
case.
a big argument is because when Kendrick Lamar says certified lover boy, certified PDFs, he could just be referring to Baka. You
Hmm.
do have him in your group. He is still someone in your inner circle. Why is he still around? You
You
guys
wearing
call
a
yourselves
Drake
certified
chain?
lover
That
boys, but
says
one of
D.
y'all has a bad criminal history. Now they're looking into Drake's relationships and behaviors with youngins at the same time. It only makes me believe that Drake had put himself in this position
Drake.
where now his own label has to go at him this way. I think Drake brought this on himself. This is an
Mm-hmm.
outcome of how he has been acting and what he's been requesting in court. The affirmation of David Kafer appended in Exhibit Y to UMG's RJN. The disclosure of such records may be limited by applicable foreign privacy or data transfer rules. If and as discovery progresses and as otherwise appropriate, UMG reserves the right to supplement, amend, or otherwise modify these categories of documents. UMG also reserves the right to rely upon documents, electronically stored information, and tangible things in the possession, custody, and control of plaintiffs and or non-parties.
See, I'm gonna shoot Drake a little bell. When it comes to these contracts, I don't like how the companies that draft up this stuff can just make changes when they want and about what they want anytime that they want. But you, as the person signing the contract, you just have to be binded to it. You can't make any changes, make any different rules. Usually, unless you're recouping the money fast, you can't change. You have no negotiation when it comes to the contract. You're either going to sign it or you're not.
This is the biggest takeaway, also, as well as Drake's contract. They're going to go over Drake's contract in court, and UMG has all the information about Drake's contract. Will they redact some of the things? Possibly some of the things that they have to redact, that they have to keep private. But I'm sure they're going to point out a lot of things from Drake's contract that they want to mention in court. But I think the biggest takeaway is how they're going to look into Drake's relationship, his history and behavior with minors, as well as Baka's criminal history. This is going to definitely change the momentum in this case. And this is something that people had talked about in the past. When everybody was talking about Drake wanting a discovery, UMG had sent its official warning. Now, back in April, this was a statement made by UMG before the discovery was processed.
I remember
Drake,
this. Okay.
unquestionably one of the world's most accomplished artists, and with whom we've enjoyed 16 years successful relationship with, is being misled by his legal representatives into taking one absurd legal step after another. In Texas last November, his counsel instituted a legal proceeding with much fanfare and bluster. On Monday, they quietly dropped the case. In New York in January, Drake's counsel filed a defamation lawsuit fearful of being sanctioned by the court for asserting false allegations. Tonight, they amended the complaint to withdraw them, only to add more baseless allegations. 2 weeks ago, his representative celebrated a win, the granting of a routine discovery motion. That win will become a loss if this frivolous and reckless lawsuit is not dropped in its entirety, because Drake will personally be subject to a discovery as well. And as the old saying goes, be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it. And now that they're going over this stuff right here in regards to Drake's relationship or his recent behavior with minors, I think this is what UMG was talking about the whole time. Now that we're doing this routine discovery, let's look into your contract. Let's look into your behavior. And I was telling people for a really long time, bro, if UMG goes this route, it's only going to look worse for Drake when his label has to expose him. His own label is finally going to have to expose him. They might have to take off the baby gloves when handling their artists moving forward. It looks like they're playing hardball now. And this might be the warning that they were talking about initially when they granted Drake the discovery. But we'll see how it goes moving forward. Y'all tell me how you feel about this. I know this is really big news. I wonder what exactly they're going to bring up when they talk about this and mention this. Y'all could tell me how you feel about this in the comments and get back to me, man. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video, man. Peace. Keep it a legend.
So Lucian Grange just swore under oath, and we got a
See what
lot of
Lucian
interesting and
talking about.
insightful information from Lucian, the CEO of UMG. We got more information about how Drake's contract is currently structured. I want to go through that, and then some other interesting things that Lucian said. Let's read. I am the chairman and CEO of UMG, which is the indirect parent corporation of defendant UMG Recordings, Inc. Plaintiff Aubrey Drake Graham. Drake claims that I was behind a scheme to quote unquote devalue his brand through the release and promotion of the Kendrick Lamar recording, Not Like Us. An allegation that makes no sense due to the fact that the company that I run, Universal Music Group, has invested hundreds of millions of dollars in Drake, including long-standing and critical financial support for his recording career, the purchase and ownership of the bulk of his recording catalog. That's an interesting point that I did not know. And the purchase of his music publishing rights. It also makes no sense whatsoever that I run a publicly traded, multi-billion-dollar, multinational corporation whose operations in over 60 countries, covering nearly 200 markets, ultimately report to me. Now, I didn't know that they owned a bulk of his catalog. I knew he was in a
should have known.
licensing deal and whatnot, but I did not know that aspect of things. And Brian Zasuk, who is a very well-informed industry pundit, I'll say, um, stated UMG owned So Far Gone through Scorpion. When he re-upped his recent deal, he signed a licensing agreement for future releases. So all that like Certified Lover Boy, Her Loss, Honestly Never Mind, For All the Dogs. And then we got some sexy songs for you. And we have the upcoming Iceman album is part of the licensing, right? Now, this is all under oath, and this is what I agree with. Like, it doesn't make sense to devalue somebody's brand when they're making a big portion of what's keeping your operation going. You understand? Like, there aren't a lot of profitable artists out there. There aren't. It takes a lot of money and work and marketing to get somebody to become a profitable artist. And devaluing somebody's back catalog that's bringing in a lot of money doesn't really make sense. But let's continue to something else that I found interesting. But given Drake's motion, I would like to make it quite clear that I had never heard the recording Not Like Us, nor ever saw the corresponding cover art or music video until after they were released by Interscope Records. Whilst as part of my role, I certainly have financial oversight and responsibility for UMG's global businesses, the proposition that I was involved in, much less responsible for, reviewing and approving the content of Not Like Us, its cover art or music video, or for determining the directing the promotion of those materials is groundless and indeed ridiculous. And that's where a lot of y'all lose me when y'all say conspire to do this or they sent this person to do this. Like, we forget that all of this happened in rapid succession. Like 616 in LA dropped, Family Matters dropped, Meet the Grams dropped, and Not Like Us dropped within a 36 to 48 hour span, gang. And this was happening rapidly. Do you think nigga was sending Lucian the songs like, ooh, then I'm gonna do this one when he does? Like, bro, that makes everything that Drake did predict.
All right. So my thing is, when the label is helping out Drake every way that they can, is fine. But when they start helping out other artists, mainly one he has a beef with, then it becomes a problem. All right, y'all. I think I'm gonna wrap it up right there. I'll cover this lawsuit a bit more as it goes on. I've been J Stat. That ain't this. Peace.